Hey everyone, welcome. This is Kia Sanyi. We are live. We didn't intend to go live, but we are going to do that today. This is our first time doing live on TV. Personally, my heart is pounding, but nevertheless, it's a really interesting day. Now, I would like to warmly welcome two of my friends, Wagari and Sarmu from Springfield, Virginia, and also Chaltu Siraj from Orange County, California. Before I proceed, why we're here, what we are going to discuss today, I would love to give them the chance to kind of introduce themselves. I know they're both social media activists. Some of you might know them. But before that, I would love to give them the chance to kind of introduce what they do and all of that. Chaltu, I will start with you. Please introduce yourself and we can proceed to Marco.
My name is Chaltu Siraj. I am originally from Orange County, California, currently a resident of Atlanta, Georgia. I'm a criminal justice major at Kennesaw State University and a proud Oromo. We're here to talk about OILC, and both Wakari and Kia are two of my teammates working on the committee for organizing this summer.
All right, and my name is Wakari Sarmu, like they said. I'm a student at the University of Maryland. I'm a bioengineer major, and I'm also a proud Oromo.
Thank you, guys. To kind of give our audience some kind of establishment points on what we are going to discuss today, what our discussion will be revolving on. First, I want to say we are part of OILC. All three of us have been working on OILC is an abbreviation for Oromo Youth Leadership Conference. So all three of us are part of Oromo Youth Leadership Conference that is going to be held this summer. So we are going to kind of have, I know some of you might have seen some kind of promo videos and social media posts and GoFundMe page and different things that we've been talking about on social media. But this time we are here to kind of answer some of the questions people have been asking, what the purpose of this OILC is and all of that. So I'm going to, like I say, OILC is an abbreviation for Oromo User Leadership. So, but to just kind of answer more of the questions that have been asked by the people, we're going to discuss that today. And first, I just want to kind of give an establishment point on what OILC is. I'm going to start with you, Chaltu, and I know you've been part of this organization. This organization is not a new, and me and Wako, myself and Wako joined recently, trying to revolve it, but you've been part of it. So if you kind of give us what OILC is, and then from there, I'm going to continue with Wako.
The Oromo Youth Leadership Conference, or OILC, originally started in 2006 with the first group of Oromo youth at the University of Minnesota Twin Cities. We came together again in 2007 for the second annual OILC, and I was lucky enough to be part of that group. It was the largest OILC to date. We had about 70 people in that group, and we got together to discuss Oromo arts and culture, youth at risk, issues with identity and regionalism, and so many other topics that pertain to us as youth, and that we needed more in-depth discussion, understanding as young people in the community. So OILC gave us the tools we needed to be leaders in our own communities. So I believe, and I stand by the statement that that conference really did help a lot of the young leaders that you see in our community today, who are leading organizations in their communities at home. OILC was a big part of our pastime, summer pastime. It always was in sync with the Oromo soccer tournament that takes place every summer. And OILC was a place for us to network. This is a little before social media was as popular as it is now. It allowed us to meet each other, people from all over the world. We had youth who came out from London, Australia, all over the States and Canada. And we were able to create a siblingship, a brotherhood and a sisterhood that really was something that is were lifetime friendships, and we were able to lean on each other as partners and as peers in our community, bouncing ideas off of each other and problems that we were having in our individual communities and coming to conclusions together. So I really believe that OILC facilitated that process for us.
Well, I mean, if you can kind of add to what she said and also say a little bit about the significance of OILC.
Well, specifically, OILC this year is going to be a 3-day conference that will be held from August 1st to August 3rd. And it's going to take place in Minnesota during the week of Osfana. So basically, OILC is an international collaborative effort with an organizing committee comprising of young Oromos from all over the world. And right now, our number one aim for the 2017 conference, at least, is to restructure and reform the International Oromo Youth Association. Basically, we want to establish an umbrella youth organization on the international stage so that we can effectively coordinate and connect young Oromos from around the world.
As you guys said, just to kind of add a little bit, like Wako said, is an international collaborative effort, and the Oromo Youth Leadership Conference aims to start conversation about issue in the Oromo community as it pertains to the youth. So this is actually what we're trying to do, and we are, kind of trying to bring all the youth around the world from Canada, Australia, some part of Europe, and all of that. So this is what we are doing, and this question has been revolving. A lot of people sent us through Facebook and different social medias and asking us about it. But to kind of talk about the importance, why is it important now? Why do we have to have this conference? It's known that this conference has not been active for a couple of years now. So now I think 2011, if I'm not mistaken. So now after 5-6 years, why is it important to kind of restart it again? Chalto, if you would like to elaborate on that.
In my opinion, there's been a huge generational gap between the youth and transitioning into what we like to consider the adult community. So back when I can date back to 2007 when I was part of the Oromo Youth Leadership Conference. I was 15 years old then, working alongside people who were in their late 20s, early 30s, on projects that pertained to the youth. I always knew that I would have a much longer period working as someone in the youth community than they might have, because they were all working on their transition into the greater community. So I know that there were people also my age who were working on these things. So we were carried on we were introduced to being Oromo youth, and we were introduced to that part of the community. So we knew where we fit. We've seen in most recent years that generational gap is widening, that the youth today don't really have a platform to step into the community and really are losing their place in the Oromo community at large. And so the idea that this organizing committee had to reorganize OILC and bring back this summer pastime of so many of our young Oromo leaders, the idea behind it was to bridge that gap, help the youth of today come into their position as Oromo youth in their respective communities, facilitate their growth into being leaders, and actually give them a place where they can identify, and then later ensure that they will be the future leaders of our community. So without activities like OILC and without organizations like IOYA, the International Oromo Youth Association, there's a fear that many people have that this generational gap is going to widen to the point where we really don't have active Oromo youth, and that is an incredibly important part of our community structures in diaspora and at home, and also as part of our struggle. We see the youth leading a revolution back home, but really what are we doing in diaspora to bridge the youth in diaspora and the youth back home who are leading such a massive revolution?
Well, that's actually the good point that you actually mentioned is a generational gap. I know now the reality of diaspora and the back home is completely different if we come to that point. But Wak, I would love to give you a chance to kind of what do you see now in the use? I know you've been working Oya DC, which like was really good Oromo use. I was a big part of it also. We've been working together, and we see a lot of youth being interested in working for Oromos and all of that. And how does this OLC empower or get those youth to kind of work for Oromos? Like in what ways and why it is important?
Well, OLC is going to give many youth a chance to meet each other. There are Oromo youth all over the world who don't really know that there are Oromos all over the world. And then OLC will provide a chance for them to share their experiences being an Oromo, not living in Oromia, and also give them a chance to hear from very, very knowledgeable speakers who know a lot about Oromo issues, give them an insight to their heritage, their roots. And to the point you made about what's sort of different now, why is this more necessary now at this point? Well, like Jaltu said, there's a big difference between now and the mid 2000s when IOYA was initially formed and when OLC was a more annual event. There are many more Oromo youth in the diaspora. If we just look at the numbers, there are many more Oromo youth associations as well. And because of the recent Oromo protests, there's been a surge in like Oromo political self-awareness among Oromo youth, especially, well, as well as the ones who were born here. So the reason for OILC, one of its central goals being the reformation for IOYA, is that there needs to be sort of an organizing force that is sort of harnessing all this new energy into coordinating efforts for advocacy and just being more active in their community. And so we believe that OLC is going to be a great venue to reform IOYA, and IOYA is going to be is a good way to harness that energy.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point. Now we can come to the idea of IOYA, I think. But before that, I mean, you know, if you guys noticed, a lot of places on Oromo, different states of Oromo, especially in diaspora, the criticism that comes to us as a youth is that youth involvement in Oromo. I mean, it could be civic society, it could be a political organization, it could be anything. So we always been told that there's no use in that group, and there's no use like being participating in different things. And for us at this point, we are trying to change that. And first, the way I see it is this. First of all, we have not given the chance. Second, I mean, the environment is not even like welcoming when you see it because it's different things in there when you go. So now, when we say youth empowering is going to be is not only from us, what is expected also from the community itself. They should support us, and we launched if you guys remember the GoFundMe page, and how many people even contributed. Being honest, you know, we've been criticized for so many things that oh, youth are not here, that not there, but I mean, you know, is the question is for everyone, not only for us. But for the wider community also, and also when we say empowering the youth, it means like include youth in decision making. That's one thing that we have to keep in mind, and then also honor the youth voice, and also be willing to share their adult their adult power and privilege, and those all things included in it, and also be supportive. It could be financially, it could be idea and anything. So those are the things that we should. I mean, all the community and also should kind of work together on, and I think that's the way to go forward for now. So when it comes to the idea of IOYA, which is International Oromo Youth Association, let's just kind of talk about that now. I think, why do you think it is important? I'm going to get back to you now. Why is the IOYA, like you've been kind of mentioned a little bit, but I want you to go in detail. What structures it should have, and how is it like help the youth to kind of get involved in more Oromo communities and Oromo political organizations and all of that?
I mean, right now there are already Oromo youth associations in many different countries, many different cities, but there's never really been an effort to coordinate their efforts. Like individually, these organizations have been able to launch various social media campaigns, raise awareness in college campuses, raise money, hold cultural shows, and all that. But the importance of IOIA is being able to coordinate all these different efforts, create an effective network, international network that gives us the ability to synchronize our efforts, and be it advocacy, raising awareness, and all these work individually, is because it opens up all the resources. For example, if somebody wants to open a new Oromo Youth Association, or they have an Oromo Youth Association which is just, it hasn't been going as well as the others, through IOIA they can ask for help, they can ask for different tips, they can ask for funding, and through that they can increase their capability in hosting youth, being a more effective organization, and all that. So that's why I believe IOIA is really important now and will be helpful for the youth.
Okay, I think that's you raised a really good point here, and also I want to go back to Jalto now. Like I said earlier, I mentioned that you've been part of the OILC and IOIA, and you have experience from past 2006, and you've been part of IOIA. So how do you see it, and how can we? You have seen the struggle that IOIA went through, and all the mistakes and the good things that it contributed to the. Earlier when we started this interview, you said the really permanent the people that are working for Oromo right now being part of IOIA and OILC. So, and also OILC right now is kind of like, I don't want to say it's not there, but it's just been really, it was really few people who were active in trying to bring it back. So now, what are we doing to eliminate those kind of things, and how we go forward from your experience, and what do you expect from the community and also from the youth and all of that? If you're gonna elaborate on that.
If we look historically back to about 2006, 2007, when OILC and IOIA were first emerging in our community, you have to imagine it was a very small group with lack of ability to communicate across the board. We were looking at a time where not everybody had a mobile phone, not everybody had social media, not everyone had a way to contact each other across the ocean. So really the European youth versus the Canadian youth and Australian youth really didn't have contact with those of us here in the States. And if we did, it was over a period of time. It wasn't as quick as it is now. So fast forward to 2015, 16, and 17, even our revolution has changed its face. We were able to see with the recent Oromo protest videos and picture evidence of things that were taking place back home. We were able to see, get immediate interviews and contact people on the ground in Oromia. And if we look back towards ourselves, we were able to communicate and be social media activists on a grander scale. We can see now that there are individuals in our community who have, hundreds of thousands of followers who tune in to listen to their interviews. And we now have a media organization or multiple media organizations that are out there on the forefront of this Oromo revolution. And times have changed. Every youth has a cell phone and multiple social media accounts. And so now it's so much easier for us to communicate. And with that, we have a larger working group. So having an establishment like IOIA, a centralized organization where really all youth can come together to work and be a part of, where we feel like we have our voice heard, where decision making is made together, where no one is really more superior than the other, and we are all peers in the sphere of things. IOIA changes the game of Oromo organizations. We really can, with the reestablishment or the reemergence of this organization, are able to do so much more in this day and age than we were able to do 10 years ago, and will be able to do more 10 years from now than we're able to do today. But it starts with facilitating its growth. It starts by paying more attention to the needs of this type of organization and really addressing why it's necessary in our community, in diaspora and back home, to have an organization like this that exists. We have various political organizations. We have special interest groups in the Oromo community, but really nothing that pertains to the youth specifically. And the community really needs to open that door and give that platform and that microphone over to the youth to do the work that they're so passionate about doing. This is a time where I honestly haven't seen something like this in my lifetime. How many teenagers and people in their early and mid-20s so interested in being part of the Oromo community and learning the language and the culture and our history, and really are just looking for a place to network and find people that they identify with, who look like them, who talk like them, who have similar experiences that they do, or were raised in the same ways that they were, to have an organization of basically people who look like you, and working alongside them for a greater cause, I think is extremely important. And we really need to pay more attention to the youth, and pay more attention to how we can facilitate their growth in our community.
Yeah, I think you really raised a really good point, Jaltu. I think what I would say on that is that what the revolution back home that happened, I mean, which was started in 2015, actually kind of opened up the space for the youth and diaspora to kind of reflect and find their position in helping others and being involved in Oromo. I think for the Oromo, the time is now. There's a lot of youth being interested in working for Oromos, and that this is the chance that they have to take, and they need to empower the youth. And as when it comes to the organizing committee and all of that, I mean, we are really diverse. I mean, Oromos are one, but when I say diverse, is that we come from different the religion background, different. Some of us grow up back home and grow up back home. Some of us here, so we have like diverse background, and it's really it's interesting to see that all these people coming together and working for the same cause. Is really interesting, and really something that we really have to encourage. I would love to give it the chance to Wako and to kind of explain where we stand as a youth, as organizing committee so far, not organization, or we have board or committee. I mean, this is a committee that is working to put up this event. But I just want you to talk about how OILC the youth are diverse, and where are they from, and all of that. And if you can kind of how we're working, and what the points are we planning to have during our OILC meetings in Minnesota and all of that. If you kind of want to give some points on that.
Okay, yeah, definitely the organizing committee is comprised of Oromos from different countries, from different places in Oromia as well. And most of the work, like Jaltu was saying, the importance of social media, most of the work and the cooperation and the planning has been made through the internet, through group chats, having video conferences and all that. So it's definitely, the social media age has definitely helped in connecting Oromos. It is one of the primary reasons this organizing committee could even be formed. What we're planning to do at OILC 3-day event, we're going to have various guest speakers from all walks of life in the Oromo society, talking about politics, social leaders, community leaders, health workers, all that. We want to give the youth an all-encompassing look at Oromo community, and also the kind of people we have within our community. And apart from that, we'll also be having discussions with the central focus being the recreation of Ioya. There's going to be a lot of talk about what kind of organization the people, like the youth, want to see and how they want to be involved.
I just want to go to the part about when the event is going to be held, where, and all of that. Jalto, if you can kind of give us I mean, you know Minnesota well, so I don't know I can say this address, but I think you can kind of give a good description of the place and all of that. That would be good.
All right. So all of our information can be found on oromoyouth.org. That's where you can register and find out all the information about location and venue. The conference will be held from August 1st to August 3rd at Concordia University in St. Paul. Registration is on the website and through you'll be registering through Eventbrite. There's a $20 registration fee that will cover cost of the venue and other things that we were unable to fundraise. We still also have the GoFundMe page up now. That's on the International Oromo Youth Association Facebook page, where you can still donate. And we have hope that our community will still stand by us as the conference is coming up in less than 4 weeks. We still have things that we would like to do that we have been hindered financially with lack of donations. We're very thankful for the ones that we've received already, but we do urge the community to continue donating and standing by the youth, because standing by the youth is standing by the future of your community. So again, the conference OILC is going to be held at Concordia University in St. Paul from August 1st to August 3rd. And any in-depth information can be found on our website at oromoyouth.org.
Really good information. You gave out a really good description of the place and all of that. But I want to talk about, how can the youth, now it's only, we try to kind of reach out to the wider community and also the youth and we're using different social media platforms, so Snapchat, Facebook, promo videos, and YouTube, and here on media, on TVs, and all of that. And how can we, a lot of people out there, they don't know how to contact us or any way to kind of get to talk to us and be part of it. So, is it open for everyone and all of that? If you want to talk on that, Wak, I would love to give you a chance.
OILC is open to anyone can or any Oromo youth. If they want to be more involved and prior to OILC, they can help by, spreading the word about it, telling their friends about it, inviting people to the Facebook event that we have. Just maybe, just texting your friends, telling them about it, asking your parents or to donating yourself. And then at OILC, all we ask of the youth is to come, if they anyway, it's inclusive for all youth. There's no requirement of, you don't have to have been active in the Oromo community before. If this is your first time even getting into anything related to, Oromo community and Oromo organization, you are welcome. There is no, we're not exclusive in that regard.
Okay, I was gonna come to a conclusion, but I think I left out one point. And there's I've seen a lot of people be kind of attaching us to one organization or the other, or one person to the other. So I think it's kind of a good time to kind of give a straightforward answer on that. Okay, let me start by myself. You all can say stuff, but we are a youth organization that want to work for the Oromo, the entire Oromo people. We're not a part of any organization. We're independent. And we work with any organization that want to work with us, as long as our goal and our aim is the same. So that's all I can say. But Charles, if you want to add on that, I will give you the chance.
Oftentimes, we have the image of our organizations are tainted by issues with propaganda and miscommunication and misinterpretation. Honestly, this is an Oromo youth organization created by multiple individuals who come from different walks of life, who have different platforms, politically, socially, economically, come from different backgrounds, and also have different personal interests. But we were able to compromise all of our personal interests for the greater good of an Oromo youth organization. And I think we can see a lot in our organizing group itself, even on a smaller scale, that we all have different ideas, and we all have different visions for the community, but we don't allow that to hinder our success, nor do we allow that to hinder our productivity. And again, we're not attached to any greater organization. The Oromo Youth Association is here to stand by the community and be for the community. And I think that's really important for the general community to understand that the youth, once strong, once centralized, is going to be at the disposal of the entire community. And I think that that's really important to take into mind when attempting to affiliate this group with other political groups or other social groups. And I believe I can speak on behalf of the entire organizing committee that we are not affiliated, and we want to make that very clear.
Wago, if you want to add anything on that.
I mean, yeah, within the organizing committee, we have a variety of political views. We don't all agree with each other on different issues, but at the center of it all, what always drives us is that there's a common understanding that we are all Oromo first, and that we are working towards a bigger goal than ourselves. So even when we have discussions regarding Oromo politics or anything, the rhetoric is always respectful and cordial. And so we never really have a problem with political divisions or anything like that.
That's a good point. At the end, I want to get back to you, Wago, on the closing statements. That what you want to say to the wider community, the youth around the world, and we're coming to an end now. I think it's good to kind of keep it short and precise on that. So if you want to give a closing statement on that, I would love to give you the chance.
Well, I don't have much to add, but I'd like to finish off with a call to action. We really, really need the support of our community. So far, the support that we have received was far less than that which we expected. In our community, there's always talk about the Gada and the importance of passing the mantle to the younger generation. And right now is the great opportunity to do that. It's time for the Oromo community to put its word into action and support the youth, as this is our attempt to take a more active role in our society. And so this attempt should be supported. So my last message is support us.
Chaltu.
I just want to emphasize the importance of a conference like this for everybody, whether you are the social media activist or the unaware Oromo. I can use my own personal experience, and I hope they're words of encouragement. 10 years ago, I really didn't know anything about Oromo history. I didn't speak Afan Oromo past Akam Negea Faya. And I didn't really know much about myself because I grew up in an area where there were no Oromos, and there was no one my age, no one who looked like me, and I didn't feel like I really had a place in our community. I found myself in everyone else's community and in every other social group and every other extracurricular activity except being involved in the Oromo community because I didn't feel like I had a place. OILC, the Oromo Youth Leadership Conference of 2007, opened the doors for me to step into our community, bright and proud and interested, and I was probably one of the youngest members of that group, and I asked every question I wanted to ask, little or big, and I got an answer for every question. And if it wasn't for that youth leadership conference, I don't think I would have had the drive or the passion to continue on working in the Oromo community, or really had a step in at any other point in time in my youth to step into the Oromo community and really work alongside my peers. I can proudly say I fluently speak Afan Oromo because now, because that passion was inside of me. It was a flame inside of me that was burning to identify more with my people and look more like them and talk more like them and really embody what it meant to me to be an Oromo. And my Oromoma was strengthened 1,000%. So I have hope that this conference will be inspiring to other youth who were like me at age 15. And I urge the community to stand by the youth. The youth are oftentimes underrepresented, and we're always looking for where the youth is, how we can get in contact with youth, how can we get the youth to take over these organizations or infiltrate these systems that are outdated or that people really don't have the passion to run anymore. The community needs to know that if we don't involve our youth in our own communities, they are going to find their place in someone else's community. And we cannot cry and mourn the day that we see them bringing success to somebody else's ethnic group or somebody else's civil cause, or fighting for somebody else's civil rights, because as Oromos, we were all born to be activists. And it's something that is embedded so deeply inside of us that if we can't do it for our own, we'll go and do it for someone else's. So again, I urge the community to stand by this Oromo Youth Leadership Conference organizing committee in fundraising by donating to the GoFundMe page. And I also urge the community to get your children involved, to give the youth the platform that they deserve, and to push them to attend this conference. It can be really life-altering.
Thank you, Jaltu. You actually said most of the things that I was getting ready to say. You already took it. But I have nothing to say at this point. But I would love to kind of invite all the youth around the world to be part of this. Please be there in Minnesota. It's also, by the way, Osfana Week, Oromo Week. The same week, we could put it in the same way so that people will have fun at the same time coming to meet Oromos in Minnesota. So I would love to invite all the youth around the world, be part of it. If you have any question with it, go on IOYA page and shoot us a message. We will get back to you as soon as we can. And also the Oromo society, Oromo community at large, please stand by us. As like Wak actually said earlier, that the support that we expected compared to the criticism that we had, that we received, it's really nothing. There's really a couple of people who helped us so far. So now, before you criticize someone, you just have to kind of support. So please, all the Oromo communities, and stand with us. Go on our FNME page, and this is all for the good cause, and educating Oromos, empowering the youth, and all of that. So please stand with us, support us. And I mean, I think we're gonna have a lot of after this. We're gonna go on different medias and kind of give different answers. If they have any question, they can shoot us anytime. We still have some media to come out. So thank you, everyone. I really would like to thank you, Wako from Virginia, Chartu from Cali, Galatoma. Thank you very much, and have a good day. Thank you. Thank you very much. We really appreciate. Thank you very much, and have a good day.